Come on in, Sam. Come on in, Sam. Come on in. When we come in, we can share button. I'm taking the opportunity to share now. You all share as well. I'm just taking the time to share, family. Come on in. Come on in, family. We're just taking the opportunity to share. We're going to have a therapeutic session today. It's going to be very powerful. I'm getting ready to give you some information and some knowledge that you'll probably have to give about $1,500 to get it. I'm getting ready to give it to you for free today. All I need is 60 minutes of your time. 60 minutes of your time. It's going to get you some great therapy today. It's just take you to have a little patience to allow me to build this up. All right? Now, I've taught along these lines before. Those of you that follow me, you all know that I tend to be pretty thorough. But you are about to get some information that's going to be life transformational. I promise you, if you hold on to your seat and give us 60 minutes of your time. All right. Just give me a few. Thank you for joining us, Brother Jamar. Brother Jamar is in the studio with us. All right, family. Everybody good? Are we getting ready to deal with something that's going to be very powerful? Listen, I promise you, if you give me 60 minutes or a little less, I'm going to take this up for you, and it's going to be life transforming. Life transforming. We're going to have some therapy today. I said us. We. And one of the hardest things to do when you're a healer, when you're a counselor, a therapist, or a coach, is to get someone to understand that there may be something a little off about them, or something may be a little wrong about them, or they may be a little sick. But that's okay, because why? It's transformative. It can be fixed, right? Because we want to be the best one of ourselves. We want to be at the highest level of ourselves. We don't want to just operate, but we want to operate at the highest level of clarity, so that we can do what? Think. Thinking is the most powerful thing in this realm right now. Having the ability to think for yourself. Okay? So come on into the truth session. With me, I'm your host with the most. I'm the one, the apostle, the prophet, the cosmic commander. Listen, and we're very grateful and thankful for none other than the master teacher, the quantum shifter, the shape shifter, the code breaker. Oh, he's been holding it down. Awesome, awesome sessions by the master teacher. Okay? All right, here's what we're going to do, fam. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to uh, set our frequency, and then we're going to jump into this. All right? Okay. We're going to set our frequency, and then we're going to jump into this. Okay? Exploring the Oedipus or the Oedipus and the Electro complex. It's going to be powerful. It's going to give you some insight, because it's going to allow you to look at you and to view you. So let's set this frequency, and let's breathe deep. Let's really get into a place where we can open our spirits, open our minds, so that we can grasp this information. It's going to be powerful. We call the truth session to order, and all that are in attendance and those that will come and be in attendance, and to all other elsewhere. All right, fam. Let's get set. Let's get ready to go. All right, family. Let me slide this board here into position. We're going to share some information that's going to bring healing to all of us. Because why? This is about you, it's about me, and it's about us here in the truth session, right? Okay, with that being said, Ubuntu, Inotep, Abaragani, Amani Kaka, Amani Dada, Ola, Bonjour, Ni hao, Felicia, Assalamu alaikum, Assalamu alaikum, Namaste. All right, greetings, fam. You're now in another truth session. To me, 60 minutes or a little less to take this up for you. Okay? Now, what are we going to be dealing with? We're going to be dealing with the Oedipus or the Oedipus in the Electra complex. Okay? I'm not quite sure how many of you have ever heard of that particular term or those terms. Um, this was psychology. But let me drop something on you real quick, just to kind of give us somewhere to land real quick. I want to deal with the word complex real quick. Okay? Let me give us a working definition. Okay? How's everybody doing today? Thank you for your Saturdays. We are certainly not remiss to, with extended grateful gratitude, say thank you for your Saturdays. Okay? When you all get that, go ahead and get those emojis. Now, also, if you're in the room, if you're in the chat room, and you would be pleased to, please put where you're hailing from, put your area code, city or state, whichever one you choose, so we can network with each other. Put your business on the timeline, right? Because this is FUBU. This is for us and by us. It's for you, for me, and for us. Okay? All right. Also, listen, this information that you're getting ready to get, I promise you, you're going to pay at least about $1,200, $1,300 to get it. But I'm getting ready to give it to you. And all we ask you here in the truth session to do is what? Donate. And the information that's out there for you, they're going to put it on the timeline for you. Now, so that we can all get on the same page, if you can see that definition, complex, if you can see it, put a one on the timeline. Let me see if I can beat you guys. Put a one on the timeline so that we can all get on the same page. Okay? Thank you, Brother Jamar. See you. Let me go down the timeline, see who's in the room real quickly. Hey, Lavelle. Hey, Vanessa. Okay. It's not showing me everyone that's in the room yet, but it's okay. It's not showing me everyone that's in. Okay. Now, if you all can see that complex, let's read this and just to get a working definition of something that we're going to be dealing with. I don't know how many of you all, I don't know how old you may be, but it's not necessary to know your age. But when we were younger, we used to have a saying, "Man, dude, you got a complex." You all ever heard that expression? Man, you got a complex, man. Right? Look at this, so we can get us a working place to land, and then we can build from this. Okay. The word complex. If someone has a complex about something, they have a mental or emotional problem relating to it, often because of an unpleasant experience in the past. Listen to this. I'll read it again for us, and I got it in your eye gates out there. Stick with me. Give me about 60 to 55 minutes. All right? I know it's a Saturday, but hang in here with me. Hey, Judith. Okay. Complex. If someone has a complex about something, they have a mental or emotional problem relating to it. When you have a complex about something, that means that you are not properly relating to whatever it is. And the definition goes on to say, often because of an unpleasant experience in the past. There is something that you have experienced that has, in some kind of way, had a mental or emotional effect upon you, right? More often than not, we call it what? Trauma. You've had an occurrence or an experience or an event that happens that has caused you to not properly address what is going on with you. And so you develop what? A complex. Now, I know most of us, and particularly those in the conscious community, are saying, well, you can't diagnose me. You can't put that on me. You are trying to do this to me and do that. No, I'm trying to get you to see that there is something that you need to deal with and deal with it properly and appropriately, right? Which oftentimes take what? A diagnosis, right? You have to be what? Diagnosed, right? Let's let's just look at this, and you all know that I break it down to the lowest common denominator for you so that you can get the information and it be applicable so that you can use it, okay? So that you can use it, right? Diagnose. Thank you. Um, Diagnose, right? Now, if you look in there, you see the word D-I-A, right? That word is a very powerful word. Let me deal with the root of this. This word nous. Nous actually is a Greek word that comes from gnosis. Listen to me. Gnosis, which means knowledge. Gnosis or nous, the suffix in that is gnosis, which is the Greek, which is we get that from the Greek, and the English word is knowledge. We get that. Now, let me put this definition out here for you guys. I want to put this in your eye gates. Just stick with me and let me build this for you. Let me know if you all can see that. I just put it out there. It's die here. It's very powerful. It has a number of meanings, but um, look on the timeline. I put it on there for you. One of the meanings, it means to go through or through something. It also means to go across something, right? What's the next meaning? through, across, from point to, from point to, and come completely. Isn't that something? Y'all see that? Right. L-E-T-E-T, right. Spell it from again. Mm-hmm. E-T-L-Y. Okay. There we go. All right. Completely. Now, this word die, a diagnosis, or it means to go through or cross or from point to point, and it means completely. So, diagnosis means that they're going through whatever you need to know to give you the knowledge of it. They're going to go across it. They're going to go from point to point, and it's going to be what? Completely, or what? Complete, right? Or it's going to be complete. Okay? Diagnosis. Now, we don't like to deal with the word diagnosis, but as I just broke it down to you, it really has a very powerful meaning. It just simply means the knowledge of something. To go across that knowledge, to go through that knowledge, to go from point to point with that knowledge, to completely understand what's going on when you talk about diagnosis. There's nothing wrong with being diagnosed. So when you look out into the black community, and particularly when you're given a diagnosis based upon the evidence of what your behavior is, then there tends to be a little what pushback. Hello, talk to me. There tends to be a little pushback. It's like, well, you can't tell me that. I don't want to hear that. I don't need to know that, right? Then you don't want to be healed. But when you want to be healed, you want the necessary diagnoses so that you can get the proper what? Knowledge or information. Because information does what? Say it again. Bring about a transformation. A transformation. Based off of what? Information. So that you can get the what? The right, the proper diagnosis. Now, I want to deal with, let's look at this. Let's go into this. I'm getting ready to take you into this. And I brought you this way so we can deal with the complex of a situation. When you have a complex, that means that you're not dealing with something that you have experienced. Okay? All right. Now, let me put these two definitions out here for you guys. Okay. Nikita. Hey, Rosalind. Okay, can you guys see that? I have it out there now, so that we're all on the same page. Here's what I need you to do. I need you to put a one out there so that we can all get on the same page. Okay, now the first complex that we're going to deal with is the Oedipus or the Oedipus complex. Psychoanalysis. Now, this is going to be dealing with Sigmund Freud. It's a Freudian theory. Now, listen to this. The complex of emotions aroused in a young child, typically around the age of 4, by an unconscious sexual desire for the parent of the opposite sex and wish to exclude the parent of the same sex. This is the Oedipus or the Oedipus complex. Let me go and get the Electra complex. Okay. I'm going to build on this for you guys. Stick with me. Okay. Okay. All right. Electra complex is a term used to describe the female version of the Oedipus complex. It involves a girl, ages between 3 to 6, becoming subconsciously sexually attracted to her father and increasingly hostile toward her mother, Carl Jung. Okay. Why am I bringing us this way? Because it deals with a, say it again, it deals with the complex. Now we know what a complex means. Complex, again, what does it mean? If someone has a complex about something, they have a mental or emotional what? Problem doing what? Relating to it. Often because of what? An unpleasant experience in the what? Past. Okay? So complex. So these are complex. The Oedipus or Oedipus and the Electra. Now, why are we talking about these? Because the Oedipus and the Electra, son, daughter. The daughter, the father, the son, the mother. Now, why am I saying this? Because this is very important as to where we're at in the stages of development in the cosmos or in the social theater and social behavior and how we socialize today, how we develop relationships today, what kind of relationships we have today. Now, when we develop a complex, again, a complex is derived from the fact that we have had an unpleasant encounter and we can't relate to it, whatever it may be, whatever trauma it may be, whatever abuse or whatever it may be, it has given us a what? A complex. Okay? So we can't think the way that we need to what? Think, because our mental and our emotional aspects of us are what? Distorted. Okay? So now, here's the thing. when you're dealing with the Oedipus complex, that is the complex where a son is sexually attracted to his mother. Okay? Now, we all know that the son's first love is his who? Mom, right? But that relationship has to be a what? Healthy relationship. Are you listening to me? You hear me and you hear me well. That relationship has to be a healthy relationship where the experiences do not create a conflict. There isn't any abuse, there isn't any abandonment, neglect, trauma, none of those things, so that the child can move through this particular stage that is a healthy stage if it is done correctly. Okay? So I'm going to get to something here in a minute. Just stick with me. Now, when we look at the Electra complex, that's the daughter and the father. The same thing with the daughter and the father. The relationship has to be in such order that it doesn't cause any type of trauma or abuse or separation or anything like that, so that it will not create what? A complex. Why am I saying this and going this way? Because oftentimes we're trying to diagnose someone and we don't have enough information to be able to delve deep enough. Okay? So there are us that are therapists, counselors, coaches, we have to deal with healing people, giving people information that deals with their mental or their emotional aspect of themselves. So the more information we have, the deeper we can go in and make an incision and impart the information that's needed for healing. Okay? So I'm going to bring this thought around for you in just a minute. I'm not going to hold you long. Now, when you look at the Oedipus and the Electra complex, it's going to bring you into another psychoanalysis that Carl Jung did. And I taught on this if you've been in a session. It is called the anima and the animus. Let me put these terms out here for you. Hey, Kisses. Hey, Sophia. Um, it's called the animus, the anima and the animus. Okay? Let me read a little bit here for you. Just kind of bring your thoughts around. I'll clean it up for you. Carl Jung psychology includes the notion of anima and animus. They relate to a person's unconscious feminine and masculine parts, respectively. And I need you to hear this. These archetypes, according to Jung, are part of the collective unconscious, which is the layer of the mind that includes humanity's common experiences and knowledge. Okay, now here's what he's getting at. Here's what he's getting at. We talked about the what? And the animus, right? And yeah, yes. Put anima first, and then animus. Second, okay? This is the female, okay? And this is the male. However, listen to me. However, the anima and the animus the female, the animus is the male. However, it is in one body. It is in one body. It's not female and then male. Animus and animus is in one body. In other words, in one body, it's both what? Female and male. So we have a female conscious as well as a masculine conscious, right? Okay. Okay. In the conscious realm. In our conscious realm, we have what a identity going, right? We have an identity that we yes, we have an identity that we do associate with, right? We not only associate with it, but it's the core element of who we are. For example, if I'm a male, consciously, that's what I identify with, right? Okay, catch what I'm saying to you. Consciously, I identify with being a male, which is the animus. That's the animus with me. So when people encounter me, they encounter me as a what? As a male, because that's what I identify with, right? So that means that that's what I'm projecting to you, my masculinity or my male element of who I am. Okay, stick with me. I'm gonna bring it up. I'm gonna bring it around. I'm gonna bring it around. So now, when you encounter me, you encounter the masculine identity that I identify with. I identify as a male. That's my core value. That's my core mental sense of discernment is being a male. So now, if you meet a female, she's going to project herself off on you, onto you as being what? A female, right? You get that? So when the female, when you meet a female, she's going to project off onto you her identity. And what is most often than not going to be her identity? Female. Okay? Now, here's where we get into trouble. Where we get into trouble is if we go back to the Oedipus and the Electra. When we go back to the Oedipus and the Electra, for example, if that male child has had problems, abuse, different types of things, abandonment, separation anxiety, all kinds of things with his mother, there's a tendency to get the wires crossed up. And when you see him, he may be identifying as a female. He may be coming off on you with feminine what? Characteristics, right? Or qualities, right? So same thing with the election with the male or the female becoming a male. Now, so what do we have? What do we have now in society? Where are we at in society right now? So basically, what's happening is that we're having what same-sex relationship, right? Just for educational purposes only. We're talking about the Oedipus and the Electra complex, and we're talking about the animus in the anima. Okay, so let's just give me a little time. I'm gonna take this up for you. So when you look at this, what's happening is that when a female is working in her animus, when she meet you as a male, she's going to project herself on being a, a male. She's going to project herself off on you as being a male. Now, same token, if you meet a man that's operating in the anima, he's going to project himself off on you as being a what? A female. Right? So there is a, say it again. There is a conflict in a what? Say it again. A complex. Something along the way has happened that's messing with your what? Your mental or your emotions. So there's a tendency to get your wires crossed, right? Now, please note that this is for educational purposes only. This is definitely not to try to injure anyone, hurt anyone, or anything of that nature. But the reason why I'm talking about this is because it's imperative that we get knowledge as to why certain things are happening on the inside. Why is this happening to me? Why do I feel like this? Now, what's missing? What's missing? So we know if you become, we know if you go too far over in your emotions, what will happen? You'll have a chemical imbalance, right? You have a chemical imbalance. So you're going to move one way or the other. Yes, and it may be extreme, from one extreme to the next, right? I'm giving rhyme or reason to give you information. I know this is not for everyone. I know you may not particularly care for it, but you may want to know why you may be experiencing something that you experience. The go throughs in your past, because it deals with your past, the go throughs from your past. What did you experience that bruised you? And what we found out through research is that when you experience trauma at a young age, abandonment, separation, et cetera, what it does is it inhibits a portion of your brain to grow. That means that there's information that you're liking. In other words, the information is not viable or active, so you cannot act upon it. And when you can't act upon that information, then you cannot reason to be able to work out the equation or the situation or whatever set of circumstances that you may be experiencing. So we want to be what? Cognizant of that, because it deals with our what? Our conscious. Where are you at in your thoughts? What are you thinking about? When you were a child, what was your experience with your parents? Because as we grow, the more we should know. That we should know that we should be doing what? Bringing balance to our children so that they balance off both of their what? Their masculine and their feminine. Some men are trying so hard to be so masculine that they can't function in a relationship, right? Because they're projecting off that masculinity. Yes, if you project too much masculinity, you have the tendency to cause that female to become confused. Let me get it. 8217. Is it becoming clear for you, brother Jamar? Yes, sir. Yes. Hey, Poker. Hey, Dorothy. Okay. Now, what are we saying? We're talking about getting to balance, right? We're talking about balancing both the masculine and the feminine. Because if you look out in the social theater, we're very unbalanced. Men are afraid to explore their feminine self because we've been taught you got to be all man. You can't cry, you fall down, hurt yourself, get up, dust yourself off, don't cry, don't do any of those things. Yes, don't show any emotions. Thank you. You got to be a man. A man don't show his emotions. A man don't cry. Yeah, you got to be hard. Well, what that has done is it's brought about an imbalance within the male, right? So what tends to happen is that he actually heals the feminine. He injures her. Y'all want to know why a male really can't have a good relationship with a female because he has killed the feminine in himself. He haven't figured out how to nurture the feminine within himself. So what does he do? He represses her. In that repression, he carries out that same act upon whoever he's projecting his masculinity off of. Whatever female, whatever woman that he is with, he's projecting that same kind of behavior that he has committed on his own feminine self onto that female. Are you listening to me? So vice versa. With the females that haven't nurtured the masculinity in them, what they have a tendency to do is to repress it. And they carry their act out on a relationship with a male, disrespecting, talk any kind of way to him. That's because you're doing it to yourself. See, here's what people don't understand. See, your behavior is predicated upon what you do to yourself. Yeah, what are you doing to yourself? So when I'm attracted to the same sex, that means that I haven't properly balanced myself, balanced my nature. I haven't nurtured myself. I haven't nurtured my ideas. As a male, I'm afraid to be emotional. As a man, I'm afraid to cry. I don't want anyone to see me cry. Hello, somebody. So I'm repressing all of that. All of that is just stuff down in there. So if the stuff down in there and it's trying to get out, who am I going to exact that upon? Who am I going to project that toward? The female. Inside of myself. Because I'm what? Relationships aren't working because they're not balanced. And the reason why they're not balanced is that why you haven't effectively dealt with who? Self. We don't want to see ourselves. We don't want anyone to diagnose us. We don't want anyone to say, hey, you have a complex. What happened to you? And we're not revisiting this to open it up to say what happened to you. We're revisiting it so that you can bring balance and harmony to it, so that it no longer affects your ability to expand, to grow, to develop. You've ever met someone in a relationship, they still act like a child? They grown in their 30s, in their 40s, but they still act like what? A child. They still act like that 10-year-old that got abandoned. Why? Because they've never dealt with that. And see, it's interesting to note that whatever position that we were in our mental thoughts will determine which one of ourselves in there, the masculine or the feminine, got traumatized. Are you listening? Based upon what and who got traumatized will determine what your behavior is going to be. Are you listening? For example, for educational purposes only, a young child that may have been molested. Have you ever noticed that that child would grow up with oversized clothes on, with clothes on? At times and moments, that child would be disheveled. And at times, you'll find that child maybe weeping or crying, and the child don't know why. Why? Because we haven't went to that place to bring balance. And oftentimes, what has happened to us is that we haven't forgiven ourselves. I'm talking to someone today that you weren't the reason why it happened. You didn't cause it. And the moment you release that and let that go, you'll bring balance to your masculine and your feminine. You'll be able to forgive yourself because that young lady that was molested or raped is mad at the masculine in her because the masculine couldn't protect her. Oh, you ain't got to say nothing. See, the feminine is mad at the masculine because the masculine couldn't help. So the feminine in that female that, for educational purposes only, that may have been raped or may have been abused, the masculine couldn't help her. So because the masculine couldn't help her, now she takes everything out on the masculine. She punishes the masculine. She goes through life projecting her hurt. She projects her feminism, which is why we have an uptick in feminism. Her femininity, she projects that off in anger, in bitterness. Same thing with the male, vice versa, vice versa. Why am I saying? Because sometimes we don't have the information to open us up to be able to take us to that place. And then the information has substance in it so that it can bring about healing. Not just to touch the wound, but to have information to concisely make an incision and place the information there for healing. We go through these complex that Oedipus and Electra are meant to be healthy interactions between the parents. So if the parents are not having a healthy relationship before the children, then it's going to be impossible for the children to have what? Healthy relationships. Y'all with me? If we're on the same page, put one out there. Let me see if I can get you all. Just so we're on the same page, if you all can hear me, am I making sense to you? I'm almost done, friend. I'm gonna bring this around for you. Okay. I'm right at about what I asked you for, about 55 to 60 minutes. I put something out there for you all. I put another definition out there for you guys, and I'm gonna hit that and we can get out of here. Okay. You guys see that? That's an excerpt from my book called When You Get Struck. I want to read this for you. Listen to this. Out of all of this, guess what we get into? We get into what we call spiritual psychosis. Spiritual psychosis refers to a condition where someone's spiritual orientation or experiences become distorted. See, the whole attempt for all of that to happen is to distort your spiritual experience in your human body. Remember, Carl Jung talked about this. It's the collective layer of the mind that includes humanity's common experiences and knowledge. All of this is based upon your experiences. And we know that we are spirits or spirit beings having what? Having an earthly what? Experience, right? We're spirit beings. So everything is targeting your spirit to give you spiritual psychosis, to bring about what? Distortion, so that you can't discern and determine what is really going on. What's really happening to me? What's wrong with my mental? Why I keep thinking off like this? Why my mind keep drifting on me like this? What's going on? Listen to this. Let me read it to you. It makes plenty of sense. Again, it's an excerpt out of my book, When You Get Struck. Spiritual psychosis refers to a condition where someone's spiritual orientation or experiences become distorted, leading to confusion in their mental as well as emotional wellness. Complex. Are you listening? See, sometimes when we're going through mentally, all we need to do is hear the right words. See, the right words have been constructed and put together to create a cocktail that when it hits my mind, it goes off. It creates an explosion in my mind. Moves away all of the toxicity. Moves away all of the erroneous ideals. Moves away all of those things that are causing me to not be able to think properly. All right. Let me finish up on this thing. This could quite well indicate that there is a disconnect from how things really appear, which could lead to ardent and groundless spiritual apprehension. Ardent and groundless spiritual apprehensions that may impact one's mental wellness in an adverse way. It's affecting you. Your, your spirit is off. You ever talk to people and they're so whimsical that you can't make heads or tails of what they're talking about? You're like, you were really thinking like that? It doesn't take up. Spiritual psychosis. A number of us are dealing with it. We're dealing with spiritual psychosis. We're at a high level of anxiety. Our anxiety level is high. We're very aggressive. We're emotionally off. When we should be laughing, we're crying. And when we should be crying, we laughing. Where are we at in all of this? We can take it back to childhood. We can go back and see what kind of relationship that we forged. What kind of relationship did the son have with the mother and the daughter with the father, and vice versa. The son is at odds with the father, and the daughter is at odds with the mother. Y'all ever seen this before? You ever experienced this before? Now you know the name of it. Now you know what it is. She knows the Oedipus and the Electra complex. If you're a therapist, counselor, coach, teacher, you should know this information because it's imperative to know. And you can begin to see why there are so many different aspects of behavior. Okay? Again, spiritual psychosis. I put that out there for you. You have it out there. Yes, indeed. So when we go back and we look at this, what type of relationship did you have? Sons with your mothers, daughters with your fathers, mothers with your daughters, fathers with your sons. What type of relationship did you have with them? See, we know the answers. We know what happened. We know what occurred. But we won't speak to it. We won't fix up a word salad that's applicable. Find you a word salad. Get the words together for healing, for meditation, for affirmation, for self-actualization, to strengthen and develop your cognition, so you can move and reign in your own thought processes. Slowly, the Oedipus, the Electra complexes. Hopefully, we touched on those things that you needed to be touched on. Hey, Maya, Empress, all the way from Spain in the house. So it wasn't good with either or them, Kizzy, I hear you. And what tends to happen is we create an imbalance within ourselves, that we don't get the wholeness and the wellness that we really need. And then we have to go back and fix it. Remember, I taught you all a term a long time ago. If you followed me in the Q session, I taught you all about a term in the Greek called what? Palagenesia. Palagenesia means to regenerate, to renew. But however, when you break the word down in the Greek, palagenesia, it actually means to time travel. It means to go back in time to fix something that was inadequate and or impermanent, and then come back in time, and you have power and authority over what had occurred, and you can work through that. Palagenesia. I speak palagenesia. That go nice in the word salad. Palagenesia. Go back in time to come back in time. Come on, fix that thing that was inadequate or impermanent. Come on, kid. That affected your life. That affect the way that you think and affect the way that you behave. You can fix it. Fix up your nice word salad. You know what hurts you. You know what hurts you. You know what emotionally disturbs you. You can fix that. Fix you up a nice word salad. Put everything in that salad and toast that salad and put it in there. And watch it work. Watch it go to work. Words are spirits. Words are spirits. Words are energy. Find the right word and say it. Oh, and start doing some things for you. And start turning and to move you to the next level of how you need to think, how you need to behave, how you need to feel. Oh, with clarity. With clarity. Find the right salad. Yes. 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 We can heal ourselves. We can heal ourselves. We just have to not be afraid. Some of us, we're afraid of what's in the dark because it's dark in here. And we're afraid of what we may run up on. We're afraid that we may run up on that little girl. You may run up on that little girl. And you don't know how to handle it. Some of the things that we've seen and some of the things that we participated in, some of the things that we've done, come on here. We don't want to face it. Don't be afraid. Fix that word salad. Go ahead. Come on, fix that word salad. Toss it. Toss it. Toss that salad. Toss that salad. Come on now. Toss that salad. Come on, toss that salad. Work that salad. Oh, come on, come on, come on, come on. What the hell I said? Don't be afraid of the dark. Walk on in there. Yeah, that's what you do. Walk on in there. But if you're afraid to go by yourself, take somebody with you. Might want to take a therapist with you. Might want to take a counselor with you. Might want to take a reader with you. A healer with you. A seer with you. A healer with you. A swami with you. A guide with you. A spiritual leader with you. Walk on in there. The most high time now. You can't keep acting out. You can't keep misbehaving. Come on. You can't keep being conflicted. You can't keep being confused. You can't keep projecting your anger off and your hurt off. It comes off in many different shades and colors and how you coming off. How you projecting yourself. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Listen, don't get caught up in you can't tell me nothing. I don't want to hear that and this, that, and another thing. Listen, you have to hear to know. Your stages of development and your cognition are developed by what you hear. What are you listening? But listen, I brought you in for my 60 minutes. I got to get up off. But while you're still here, and your cognition is turned on, and you can hear real well. And if you've received something from the truth session today, donate. Donate so that we can continue to bring you content. You all know that it takes currency to do what it is that we do and do it at a high level. But tell me where you're going and you're getting this information. And don't misconstrue what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you're not getting pertinent information or good information from anywhere else. I'm saying from the truth session. There are specific areas that we target. I'm a cog. I deal with mental elements of things. And most people don't want you prying around in there because why? They're private. And they don't want that to get out. But I'm careful with that. I'm a professional. I'm degreed up. I know what it is that I'm doing. I'm here for you if you need me, DM me. Set up a consultation. Let's talk about it. I'm under the HIPPO law. The HIPPO. You have a right to privacy. I cannot divulge your private information. What you share with me is between you and between me. And between me and between you. So listen. With that being said, thank you for your time. Thank you for giving me 60 minutes. So I've reached that space, place, and time God must say, hold what you got. Muse over it. Cogitate upon it. Ponder on it. Meditate upon it. But by all means, do what? Govern yourselves accordingly. Should I let the mystery call? Well, love, eternal life, peace, power, prosperity, and great health. Until next time.